Welcome to Small Stories, Big Healing, where old teachings speak softly into modern lives.
When you try to do everything at once, why does it feel like you finish nothing at all? When your day is full but your heart is still unsatisfied, what are you truly chasing? Once upon a time, in a coastal town where the sea wind never seemed to rest, there lived a young man named Kai. Kai was known for one thing: he was always busy. He answered messages while eating. He planned tomorrow while walking today. He listened to people while looking past them. His hands were quick, his mind was faster, and his life felt like 1,000 small doors opening and closing at the same time. And yet, at the end of each day, Kai would sit on the edge of his bed and whisper to the quiet room, "Why do I feel so far behind, even when I never stop moving?" One morning, Kai received a special task from the town's small workshop. A customer wanted a handcrafted wooden music box, smooth, precise, and beautiful. It was the kind of work that required patience. Kai nodded confidently. "I can do it," he said. "I'll start today." He set up his tools. He placed the wood on the bench. He even lit a small lamp beside him. But the moment he began to carve, his pocket buzzed. A message. Then another. Then a reminder. Then a ringing call. Kai told himself, "I'll just handle this quickly." So he answered while carving. He returned a call while sanding. He checked updates while measuring. Minutes scattered into hours like coins dropped into the sea. By noon, the workshop smelled of sawdust and frustration. Kai stared down at the music box piece. The edges were uneven. The lid didn't fit. One side was carved too deep. He pressed his fingers to his temples. "I worked all morning," he muttered. "So why does it look like I worked for only 5 minutes?" He tried again, but the more he jumped from task to task, the more mistakes appeared. A cut too sharp, a measurement too short, a hinge placed crooked. At last, Kai pushed the wood away and stood up. He stepped outside, hoping the sea air would clear his mind, but even the sea felt noisy today. Waves crashed, gulls cried, people passed talking quickly, carrying worries like baskets on their arms. Kai walked and walked until he reached the quiet edge of town. There, at the foot of a small hill, was an old tea house with a garden behind it. And in that garden, an elderly woman was trimming bamboo. Her movements were slow, but not weak, gentle, but certain. Each leaf she cut fell like a soft answer to a question no one had spoken. Kai recognized her. Everyone did. Her name was Elder Natsumi. People said she could calm an angry heart with one sentence. Others said she could teach without ever raising her voice. Kai hesitated at the gate, then bowed. "Elder Natsumi," he said, "may I ask you something?" She did not look up right away. She finished one careful cut, then turned. "You may," she said. "But first, come in and breathe as if you have nowhere else to go." Kai stepped into the garden. The air felt cooler here, as if the world had learned to slow down. He exhaled, surprised by how heavy his breath had been. Elder Natsumi pointed to a small wooden bench beside a stone basin filled with water. "Sit," she said. Kai sat. And then the words spilled out of him. "I try to do everything," he confessed. "I answer, I plan, I fix, I hurry. I'm always moving, but I'm not proud of what I make anymore. I'm busy, yet my work feels shallow. My mind feels split into pieces." Elder Natsumi listened like a still pond listens to rain. When he finished, she stood and walked toward the stone basin. From a shelf, she took 3 small cups, each empty. Then she brought a kettle of water. She placed the cups in a row and said, "Watch carefully." She poured water into the first cup. Then, before it reached the top, she moved to the second cup, then to the third, then back to the first. Her hand moved faster and faster, switching cup to cup, as if speed itself would create fullness. But something strange happened. The water sloshed. It spilled over the sides. The ground grew wet. And despite all her effort, none of the cups filled properly. Elder Natsumi stopped. She looked at Kai. "Do you see?" she asked. Kai frowned. "You were pouring, but it kept spilling." "Yes," she said softly, "because the hand that cannot stay cannot fill." Then she did something different. She emptied the cups. This time, she held the kettle above the first cup and poured slowly, steadily, without looking away. The cup filled to the brim. Only then did she move to the second, and then the third. In a calm rhythm, each cup became full. Kai stared at the 3 cups quietly shining in the light. Elder Natsumi said, "Many people call spilling progress because it looks like movement. But movement is not the same as meaning." Kai swallowed. "So, is multitasking just spilling?" he asked. Elder Natsumi walked back to her bamboo and gently touched the hollow stalk. "Tell me," she said, "why do you think bamboo is strong?" Kai looked. "Because it grows tall?" She shook her head. "Because it is hollow," she said. "It does not pretend to be full. It makes space. It allows wind to pass through without breaking." She looked at him kindly. "When your mind tries to hold everything at once, it becomes crowded. It becomes stiff. And what is stiff breaks easily." Kai's voice grew quieter. "But if I focus on one thing, I fear I'll fall behind." Elder Natsumi nodded, as if she had been expecting that fear. "Come," she said. She led Kai to a narrow stream behind the garden. The water slid around stones without complaint. It did not argue with obstacles. It did not try to be everywhere at once. It simply moved, fully, through one path. Elder Natsumi said, "Water does not reach the sea by splitting into panic. It reaches the sea by continuing one true flow at a time." Kai watched the stream until his shoulders relaxed. Then she asked him, "What is the work you are avoiding by staying busy?" Kai opened his mouth, and no words came. He knew the answer, but it was uncomfortable. He finally whispered, "The music box." Elder Natsumi smiled gently. "Not the music box, the stillness required to make it." Kai felt something inside him soften. Elder Natsumi returned to the bench and said, "Bring your task here tomorrow. Not your phone, not your interruptions, just your hands, your breath, and your one piece of work." Kai hesitated. "Only one?" "Only one," she said. "Because one candle can light a room, but 10 candles in a storm are only smoke." The next morning, Kai returned. He left his phone at home. The silence in his pocket felt strange, like walking without a familiar crutch. He brought his wood, his tools, and his worry. Elder Natsumi greeted him with tea. "Today," she said, "you will do something simple. You will carve for 1 hour, and during that hour, you will not touch anything else. Kai sat at a small table in the garden. The bamboo swayed gently overhead. At first, his mind fought him. He reached for a message that wasn't there. He imagined calls he was missing. He pictured people waiting. His hands trembled slightly, as if they had forgotten how to do one thing at a time. Elder Natsumi noticed but did not scold. She only said, "When a pond is stirred, it becomes cloudy. If you want clarity, stop stirring." Kai closed his eyes for a moment and breathed. Then he began. 1 cut, 1 curve. He listened to the sound of his tool against the wood. It was a small sound, but it held a strange peace. Minute by minute, something changed. His shoulders lowered, his breath deepened, his thoughts slowed, like a crowd learning to sit down. And the work, his work, began to look clean again. At the end of the hour, Kai lifted the piece of wood and stared. It wasn't finished, but it was right. The edges were smooth, the measurements matched. The shape had grace. Kai's eyes widened, as if he had just rediscovered a forgotten part of himself. "I did more in 1 hour," he whispered, "than I usually do in half a day." Elder Natsumi poured tea and said, "Because you were finally here." Over the next week, Kai returned each morning. 1 hour became 2, 2 became 3, and each day the music box grew more beautiful, not because Kai became faster, but because he became present. When the final day arrived, Kai placed the finished music box on the table. He opened it, and a clear, simple melody filled the garden. It sounded like sunlight on water. Kai bowed deeply. Elder Natsumi listened to the melody, then said, "Now the lesson." Kai looked up. Elder Natsumi spoke gently but clearly. Multitasking is a myth because the heart cannot fully live in many places at once. When you divide your attention, you do not multiply your results, you multiply your mistakes, your stress, and your emptiness. She lifted 1 cup of water. Deep work is not harsh. It is not punishment. It is devotion. It is the calm decision to give one thing your full mind so it can become whole. She placed the cup down and added, "You do not need more time. You need fewer directions." Kai felt those words settle inside him like clear water. And perhaps you, listening now, know this feeling too. Have you ever ended a day exhausted but unsure what you truly completed? Have you ever touched 100 things and still felt your life slipping through your hands? If so, here is a gentle practice you can try. Choose one important task. Set a small window of time, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever you can give. Remove what pulls you away, and during that time, do not chase 10 paths. Follow one stream. At first, your mind will protest. It will reach for noise like a habit reaching for sugar. But if you stay, the noise will soften. And what you create, whether it's work, peace, or clarity, will begin to feel real again. Because the truth is this: a scattered mind feels busy. A focused mind feels free. And now, before we part, let me leave you with the moral. Simple, clear, and worth remembering. Moral: when you try to do everything at once, you spill your life. But when you give one thing your full attention, you finally fill what matters. If you learned something today, or if Kai's journey brought you even a small sense of calm, I invite you to stay connected with us. This is Small Stories, Big Healing. Short tales to soothe your heart and guide your steps. If this story should reach more people who are struggling with distraction and overwhelm, please don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need this reminder, and comment below, what does deep work mean to you? Your one comment may encourage someone else
who feels scattered tonight. And if you'd like more stories that bring gentle comfort and insight, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next healing tale. Until then, move like water, one clear stream at a time. Small Stories, Big Healing will be here with another tale whenever your heart needs a gentle reminder.